Good morning guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Nice to be here. I'm in such a good mood today, which is such a contrast to yesterday where I tried to film this video and I just had the worst day ever. And this is a reminder to myself, don't try and film when you're having a low day, because today I feel like a totally different person. I've just come back from seeing a maternity physio. It was absolutely brilliant and I just feel pumped for the day. I'm having lunch. I'm trying this. It's like instant ramen noodle from the supermarket and it looks like this and it's really delicious and I'm really enjoying it, and it's like definitely becoming a little craving of mine. So I thought whilst I sit here, have some lunch, eat noodles with chopsticks, which are just never going to be flattering to look at on camera. One sec, hold that thought. Thought I would do a little catch-up Q&A with you guys. I asked on YouTube and on Instagram for you to send in any questions you have. We can do a little chat. A lot of them were baby related. This kind of happens when you're pregnant, whether you like it or not. People just want to talk about babies. That's fine with me. Don't want to bore people who aren't interested in those. So I've kind of got a mix of questions. I know some people have that phobia of watching people eat. I don't have that. I actually quite like watching people eat. I'm obsessed with Jenim's videos where she's like doing what I eat in a week and stuff. But then she is a very like delicate, you know, nice eater. So I probably will edit around me eating, just for any of you that really are not a fan. So let me crack on with the questions. I've got them here. The first one is, what will you and Rich do differently as parents the second time around? And I asked Rich this as well to get his thoughts, and I actually don't think anything really. Not to say we are perfect parents, we're definitely not, there is no such thing, but I think everything we've done has been good and has worked well, and I'm proud of how we parented Gray over the past 2 and a bit years. If anything, I think we're gonna have to make more of an effort to replicate that second time around. You know, first time around, you've got all the time to dedicate towards sleep training and experimenting with different foods and just giving them all of your attention. Whereas I do worry that with the second one, they get a bit forgotten about and they kind of just have to nap wherever they can get one because you're running after a toddler. And so I don't want that to affect the second child. You know, they might not be as good a sleeper, but maybe that's not their fault. Maybe that's because we're not putting as much time and effort in. I think what we will have to do differently is actually just focus more and think about and try and remember what we did last time, rather than then just let it come naturally. These are so good. I should have bought more than 2 packets. The next question is, any advice to stay in contact with friends on a regular basis? I think this is a tricky one. I think since COVID and lockdown, I think everyone's finding it quite hard, and if anything, it's probably made people's friendship groups a bit smaller. I've heard a lot of people say this, that, you know, they've realised who their real friends are, the ones who they can really be bothered to make an effort with, and everyone's friendship groups have kind of shrunk a little bit. Here are some tips. You know, having a set catch up. Like me and my friends used to do like monthly dinners every month where we'd try a different cuisine, and then if we didn't catch up in between, we knew we would always see each other on those dates. Reach out first. Don't be the one to wait like, oh, are they going to get in contact with me? Just be the person to like text them, make the first move. Sorry if you can hear background noise, the doors are open, it's quite warm today. Do a Zoom catch up. You know, if you don't live in the same place, don't make that an excuse like, oh, I'll wait till I see them to tell them that story. Like, do it on FaceTime, do it on Zoom, send them a voice note, send them a video. If you're in a shop and you see a greeting card that reminds you of that person, then just buy it, send it to them and just say like, thinking of you. And also a good way to kind of keep in touch without having to like chat all the time is having like a shared album. If you've got an iPhone, you can create a shared album, you can add people to it. So whenever you upload photos to that album, it pops up on their phone and they can like see photos of what you're up to. That's a great one if you've moved abroad or if you've just had a kid or you've got a new puppy, and you can just keep people like in the loop with photos without having to send it to them all the time. The next question, what do you miss the most about your life before you had a baby? I don't really think of it like that. I don't really miss anything. Like, I loved my life before having kids, and I don't kind of like dismiss that, but then my life also feels so full and full of love and full of purpose now. I don't really miss that life. That was just a different part of my life. If I had to pinpoint things, I guess, that I miss at the moment, which I think will come back, but it's just while I've got really young kids. Like those monthly dinners that I said with friends, like it's just hard to do things like that when you've all got kids. Like babysitters are expensive and you just don't go out as much in the evening. The kind of spontaneity of just doing something. We're quite spontaneous as parents, and living in London, we're lucky we can just go, oh, let's just go to King's Cross today. We don't have to like make a whole day plan, but it's not as spontaneous as before. Just kind of doing whatever, driving to Brighton for the day, everything kind of needs a plan. And also I guess nights away, me and Rich, we don't really go away on our own much anymore, or on trips or things like that. One, because like we often feel like we want to take Gray with, we want to show her things and experience things with her. Also again, just like finding childcare and things like that just makes it a bit complicated. Do you have any advice for navigating the career ladder after uni? I've just graduated and I'm finding the whole experience very overwhelming and feeling really out of my depth. I would say like if you've just come out of uni, just try not to think too far ahead. Like don't think about what you want your forever final career to be, if that even exists. Think about the journey, the experience. Like it's such an exciting time. You can try whatever you like. You're at the beginning of your journey, and think of it as like a really positive thing. Try everything and move on if it doesn't feel right. You don't have to stick at something if it's not something you're enjoying. Like try and find something else. And use this time to work out your strengths and your weaknesses, because that will really help you in the future for other jobs. And your weaknesses, find ways to improve them and ask people for advice. Ask loads of questions. If you're lucky enough to be working under someone who's kind of higher up than you that you respect, you know, treat them as a bit of a mentor. Ask them advice, ask them questions about their own career, and generally just be proactive. When I was working on advertising shoots as a runner, I realized I had quite an interest in kind of the makeup wardrobe section. So I asked one day, like, is it okay if I work on wardrobe today? And they said, yeah, sure. And then I got such great experience like working that day on like a different department. So don't wait for someone to like offer you things, like ask. This may be a complex question, but how did you and Rich know you were ready for children? My husband and I are having this conversation at the moment. Always the most asked question on the internet, with my actual real life friends as well. And I personally don't think you ever really feel ready. From my experience, I feel like if you don't want kids, that's a stronger feeling than if you're just not sure if you do or you don't. So I think you kind of know if you don't want kids, but I think if you're just like, how do you know when you're ready? I don't think there's ever a time when you know. I don't think you feel ready until, I think the woman feels quite ready when she's pregnant. I feel like the guy feels ready when the baby's born. Like maybe we got to the point in our lives where we just felt like we had a bit of space in our life for something else, like a new project, but it wasn't a strong feeling. It's not like this maternal, oh my God, you look at a baby and you feel broody and you want one of your own. Like it's not always that like you see in a film. So actually I don't really have a helpful answer for that, but just don't be put off by the fact that you don't have that strong feeling, because I think that most people don't. I just took it step by step. I was like, I'm just gonna come off the pill. That's gonna be my first step. Like, then I'm gonna learn about like trying for a baby. Like don't think too far ahead again. If you were to move into a totally different dream home, what features or characteristics would it have and why? Okay, so don't take this as me saying I don't like my home or I'm ungrateful for my home or anything like that. I love the home that we've created. It's perfect for us now. I've always said that I'm not sure it's our forever home, mainly actually because of like issues with schools and secondary schools and stuff. But in London, it's quite common to move house like every 10 years or something. People can't usually afford like a forever home forever and ever. If we were to move again, things I would probably look for in a home would be side access. It's just handy. It's handy when you're doing garden stuff. It's handy when you have deliveries. It's handy for your bikes, which we have to like take through the house to get out around like quite a tricky corner. It's just handy for things. Maybe a bigger landing upstairs where the bedrooms are off, just so it's less like squished. It makes it kind of feel a bit more spacious upstairs. And maybe like a separate room for like a playroom or something. And I wouldn't want to achieve that from blocking, you know how we have our open plan downstairs, putting a wall up and separating those rooms. I don't want that. I really like how ours is open plan. I like how you can see the lounge from the kitchen, but like, I guess if we're talking dream home, like imagine it was like double fronted and you had a room on the other side of the staircase and that was like a playroom kind of snug area. That would be like amazing. I think those are the things. Final question, that went really fast. How do you feel about your tattoos now you're a mum? Do you still like them? It's nothing to do with me being a mum. Like a mum can have tattoos, a mum can have whatever you like. It does not bother me that I am a mum, but just in general, me being like a 33-year-old and having like tattoos I've had since I was 16. There are only a couple that and I'm not going to use the word regret. I don't tend to regret things, like I don't care enough to regret them, like it's not a big deal. But I guess if I could go back in time and change them, the ones which bother me a bit are this one, the arrows. And I knew from the minute I got it done that I wasn't going to love it forever, because I'm pretty sure I wanted them done about that size. I don't know what happened. I don't love the place that I went for those tattoos. I don't know if I just didn't communicate well. I was quite intimidated. It was all men in there, whereas like this tattoo was done by a woman and it was such a different experience. Yeah, it's just way too big. And also as I get older, this part of your arm is not the most flattering. So I just don't love the way it looks from the back when I'm wearing t-shirts or vest tops. So I mean, that would be so painful to remove. It was so painful to get done, such a sensitive area. So maybe in the future when they have like painless removal or something, maybe I'd look into it. But like I said, I don't care that much. Let me turn the washing machine off. The other one is the one on my ankle, which is writing and tie. I got that on my gap year and it doesn't bother me, but I guess again, it's just one that's like seen more often when I'm wearing like shorts or dresses or skirts. And it's not like the most feminine of tattoos, I guess, but kind of whatever, like I said, doesn't bother me. This one's always like under a watch. This one I love. I've got one on my back that's always hidden. Is that it? I think those are all of my tattoos. So yeah, I would say there's only 2 that I would do differently if I could do them again. I've almost finished my noodles. Guys, they are so good. Highly recommend. Got them from Tesco's. So that's it for my little Q&A catch up. Nice to sit and chat to you guys. Maybe if you have any other questions, you can leave them in the comments. Maybe I can answer them. I like to put my videos up at 7 AM on a Sunday for those of you who are also up early. And I always like that time from like 7 till 9. It's almost like a early risers club, and I reply to comments and chat to you guys. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.